Hello and welcome to Spooky Spirts Saturdays. I'm your host, Kelly, and won't you join me as we give classic horror a cocktail twist? Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here for another episode of Spooky Spirits Saturdays. This is part 2 of a series that I am doing throughout the month of October. I already did part 1, which was about Frankenstein. So if you do want to check out that video, I'll put a link right here. And if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe because there are still more videos coming. For today's video, we're going to be inspired by 1931's Dracula. Also known as my personal favorite of all of the Universal monster movies. This one was directed by Tod Browning and of course starred Bela Lugosi in his most famous role of his career. I wanted to talk just a little bit about Dracula because I love old classic films. Just wanted to give a little bit of fun facts, a little bit of history. Dracula was released in 1931 and was a major success for Universal Studios and spawned all kinds of other monster movies subsequently. I think by now most of us are probably pretty familiar with it because the book came out over 100 years ago and plot that's been out there for a very long time. But spoiler, there is a man named Dracula. He lives in Transylvania. He's very mysterious and regal and aloof. Turns out, spoiler, he's a vampire. Something that I learned a few years ago that I thought was really interesting. At night, after the film crew for Dracula wrapped, a second crew came in and they filmed the entire movie again in Spanish. Did you know that? Within 48 hours of it opening at the Roxy Theater in New York, it had already sold 50,000 tickets, which was huge because this came on the heels of Universal Studios losing $2.2 million in revenue. So they were pretty happy about that. The studio's marketing had writers printing that people were fainting in shock while watching Dracula. So a lot of people wanted to go and see what that was really all about. Bela Lugosi's Dracula is, at least for me, and I know for a lot of people, the vision of Dracula that you think of when you think of the character. His portrayal has stood the test of time as we stand here in 2023, almost 100 years from when he originally did his role. That's a huge feat. Now I think it is time that we make the drink. We're making Dracula sangria. I don't know if I need to explain this, I'm sure I do not, but sangre is Spanish for blood. Sangria is derived from sangre. There you have it. Dracula's blood, basically. Which, come on, that makes sense, right? Maybe it's too on the nose, or maybe it's perfect. Depends on how you look at it. I thought it made a lot of sense. This one is gonna be a little bit spicy, and I know the first video of this series was a very spicy drink and may have not been for everybody, but this one you can very easily leave the spice out of it. I used 2 jalapenos, 1 sliced and muddled, 1 just sliced and then put into the mixture. I also used the Serrano bitters, but this is my favorite. I put this into literally every drink. We're gonna put in some blackberries, plums, orange, lemon, lime, and these apples. And I think what I'm gonna do is muddle some of the plums, the jalapeno, and the blackberries to accelerate that flavor release. And then the other fruits I'm gonna just put in there and they'll act as a garnish as well as seep in those flavors over time. As I'm looking at this picture, I am hoping it is not too small. Actually, it's probably too small. If it is, I have a punch bowl. We'll put it in that instead. Oh my goodness, we still have this orange. I forgot about, I was supposed to muddle the orange. We'll squeeze some. We juiced half an orange. This half I'm gonna slice up, but again, my cute little picture here is just seeming like it is not gonna get the job done. We're gonna try. We're gonna keep going. It's time to add this wine and see how much of it we can actually get into there. Look for a wine that says spices in it. This one said spice mocha. This is a red blend that my friend helped me pick out, but to be totally honest, outside of the spice mocha part, I picked it because of the label. I thought it was very Halloween ready. Oh, the moment to see if this is gonna overflow. Obviously we will stop before that, but let's see how it goes. probably about there. I'm gonna go and get my punch bowl. It smells really good already. We're gonna add 1 lime, a half cup of brandy. Actually, don't know if I have a half cup in this bottle. Let's see. Oh, yes. Perfect. Pick whichever brandy you prefer. I'm not much of a brandy drinker myself, so this was one that I actually got for a cocktail photo I did last Christmas, where it was actually in this punch bowl and I lit it on fire. Next, Cointreau, we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of that. Do we have separate nutmegs?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with that. Then to make it just a little bit more seasonal, I'm gonna add some pumpkin pie spice to it. You can just add cinnamon or cinnamon and nutmeg if you want. This one, which is cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, ginger, and cloves. Because I like it spicy, some of this Serrano cocktail bitters. What we're gonna do is put it into the glass we're gonna drink it from and then top that with club soda to give it a little bit of bubbles. Let's give our Dracula spicy sangria a taste. I inhaled the spice. You are able to handle just a little bit of spice. I think you'll be fine with the way that we made it here. The bubbles add a nice texture to it. It's very drinkable. It is very fruity, obviously. And the wine itself is described as being flavors of blackberry and cherry. So I think that it has I would say a balanced sweetness. I'm not someone who really loves sweet. I prefer more tart or bitter. If you're like me and you don't like sweet, I think that this is a really good option because this is something I feel like I could drink without getting that headache. That's usually what happens if I drink really sweet wine, especially. And I think it would be even better chilled. So if you do plan on making it, I say chill it first, give yourself some time to prep it and have it stay in the refrigerator for at least a couple of hours, if not longer. No spooky season drink, I think, is complete without a little dry ice. And there you have it. This is our Dracula spicy sangria. I hope that you give it a try. If you do add dry ice, please remember, wait until it stops bubbling before you give it a drink. And if you enjoyed this video, there's one that has come out before this one. I'll put a link right here. And there are still a couple more coming out through the month of October, so be sure to subscribe so you can catch those ones. And until the next one, I am wishing you a super swell day, and because it's October, a happy Halloween. Yes, baby. That's my cat. We're making a cool. Quick coffee break. Spray, I'll start again. Wait for sound, wait for sound. I never drink. Why?